Hey everybody, welcome back to the Doggone Positive Way. My name's Maria Ryan. I am a certified dog trainer and I am the host of this show, and I'm here to bring you the most updated information that you need to survive with your pets, your dogs, your animals. Maybe you have some farm animals. This episode, we're going to talk about hurricane preparedness because guess what? June 1st is like 2 weeks away. And June 1st in Florida, anyway, is the mark of hurricane season starting. So, since that's right around the corner, and also next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, I wanted to just go over a couple things for you guys to be ready so that you are ready for what's to come and your dog is not stressed out and you're not that stressed out because it's really important to be proactive. Okay, I'm all about being proactive. It makes me really anxious when people aren't proactive because I'm always try to be ready for a disaster. Okay, so with Memorial Day coming up, I just want to real quick, you need to get with your vet, get some medications that your pets may be able to use that will help calm them down if they're really anxious, okay? Because they're going to be fireworks in Florida. There's always fireworks. There's fireworks in Florida even when it's not a holiday. So we have to be prepared all the time. Now, really, the seriousness of this is, I was thinking back last year, it was not as crazy as 2024. 2024 here in Florida, we had Milton and Debbie and Helene, I think, was in 2024. Let's see. Da-da-da. Yes, Debbie, Helene, and Milton, and they made landfall, and they those storms really um, flooded areas that people didn't think were going to be flooded, and they didn't get necessarily prepared enough. Storms go wherever they want to go. The weather people predict as best as they can, but they can't predict nature in that way of like, where is this storm going to exactly head? And because of that reason, I really want you guys to be, prepared here. You guys have to be prepared. I came down here on vacation before I moved down here, and I was here when Hurricane Andrew hit. And I will never forget that. I was over in Treasure Island, staying at a little hotel on the beach. And I was like, this is crazy. Who's going to help these people? And I went and I got a whole bunch of supplies, and I drove down to Homestead at least, I think, 2 times. Yeah, we drove down to Homestead 2 times. And the devastation was crazy. As we got closer to Miami and Homestead, we started to see the trees bending in a permanent position sideways. So instead of the tree being upright like this, it was like this and this and this. And as we got closer, things were just destroyed. We got in there, and I had dog food. I had things for babies. I had things for women. I had things for men. Um, we would just dump out food, dog food on the and cat food out on the road because there were strays around, and they probably weren't strays. I'm sure, were displaced. And people really appreciated us going in and handing out these little packages, and that's why I went down there twice. And that was all I could do because we were going back home up to New York. But that really stuck with me. So when I moved down here, I was like, that's it. I've got to have a massive hurricane kit. So I got a couple of, and it took like two, maybe three, those big Rubbermaid containers. And I started to get supplies ready. And I just want to go over some basic things that I want you guys to really think about. So, hurricanes coming. You don't know where exactly it's going to hit as it gets closer. The news media and the governor is coming on and saying, hey, listen, it's going to hit here, pretty sure. We're going to have, this area, whether it's, St. Pete, Tampa, Sarasota, Sebastian, Florida, Vero Beach, whatever it is, and you need to evacuate. A lot of people refuse to evacuate. They think, hey, I've been here so many years, it's not a big deal. We're good. I don't need to evacuate. That happened with some folks during Milton, and they were not prepared. Some of them actually rode out the storm on the beaches, and the water just came up into their house, and they were up on their counters. So there were a lot of things that people weren't necessarily prepared for in the way of water. And water is just, you can drown. It's going to devastate your home. It's going to devastate the materials that make that structure up. It's going to wash roads out, may even wash bridges out. So when they say to leave, you should really leave. And say you leave. Let's just say, I'm just saying this right now. If you freaking leave and nothing happens, and oh well, get over yourselves. That's fine. You did a dry run, you practiced, you went somewhere, you had a plan, whether you're going to somebody else's home or you're going to a hotel, or um, you know probably don't have to drive out of state. Okay. So the reason why we're like, hey, get out, when they say to get out, is because people wait and they wait and they wait and they wait, and then they get out, and then everybody's on the road because everybody's leaving at the same time. So I want to be the person that's like, there, say a storm is coming, and they don't even announce any evacuations yet. But if there's a storm coming, there's a storm out there, um, I am filling up the gas tank in my car. I'm going through my checklist. So here's my checklist for you guys. Um, have a plan of where you're going to go, if you're going to go. If you're going to hunker down and shelter in place. You're brave, but sometimes you'll be okay, But if you're going to hunker down and you're going to try and ride a storm out, let's have some supplies ready, okay? So you need drinking water, okay? You need cash. Cash is king, because when the power goes out, the ATMs don't work, Venmo doesn't work, your phones are dead, all that kind of stuff. Have cash on hand. Small bills. And very, very important is to get your prescriptions refilled. You need your medication, and make sure it's refilled. A lot of times, if there's a state of emergency, you can get your prescriptions filled a little bit earlier, which can be helpful, because I know for myself, I do that every time, because I get very anxious. Like, there are medications that I absolutely have to have every day. One in particular, absolutely have to have it every day. Otherwise, my life is miserable. So I make sure that I have that. And if you can get a 3-month supply of medications, even prior to a hurricane season, that's great. It might get you through part of the season. But I just want you to really think about how to be prepared for that. If you have kids and they have asthma, make sure their asthma meds are filled. State of emergency, get it filled, again, earlier than normal. And as far as like snacks, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, what are we going to eat? Do protein snacks. And maybe it's the meat sticks that a lot of people like. I don't like them, but I'll eat them if I have to. But nuts and seeds is really good. Dried fruits, pretty good to have on hand. Some people like chips and pretzels, but that stuff's really going to make you more thirsty. So I kind of tend to stay away from that. But you might want to get some crackers, because I like to have some peanut butter. If you want to have jelly. Fluff, if you want some fluff, have some fluff. But peanut butter is really good, because if you're a vegetarian, you're not going to be eating meat sticks. Okay, you're going to have seeds and nuts and that kind of stuff. I don't know if they make, like, I bet you they make vegan or vegetarian like fake meat sticks. I kind of feel like maybe they probably do. If they don't, somebody should jump on that. Um, and also, uh, you should have some canned goods, even if they're like some beans or soup or whatever. You may need to have a can opener, like a manual can opener, old school, because again, if your power goes out, you can't open a can of anything with your electric can opener because there's no power. Um, Now, other things that I like to do is I like to go around the house and video everything. Just take your phone and just record all of your important papers, which probably you should take a file. I like to take my file of important papers, a little file, take it with me. This way, if I have to leave and I need to get back in, if the house is destroyed, we've got insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you get renter's insurance to help protect your belongings in your apartment. Um, and I like to take video of if I have jewelry or if I have, I don't know, maybe collector stuff. It just depends. Everybody's got a little bit of something that means a lot to them. And I think it's important to videotape all of that. I would also videotape your home, the actual dwelling, your porch, outside, inside, because if a storm comes, you want to say, there might be like, oh, well, this was already here. And they're like, no, it wasn't already here. Look, here's my proof. I've got video of it. It's not already here. You need to fix that. Okay. Make sure you're really just advocating for yourself. That's really what preparedness is. It's really advocating for yourself and for your pets. Okay. So, along with the kit, I want you to get batteries, get a battery powered fan, get a battery powered radio. They have storm radio. Yeah, they have storm radios. Let me just show you what I'm talking about here. Let's get something going. And I'm going to share this. Just real simple. This Amazon page, I just pulled up hurricane supplies. And look, it's got batteries and little lanterns and super absorbent socks for water. Now you're not going to be able to charge, have this plugged in, but if your batteries and your flashlights should be charged. So we have I don't have it right over here, but we have a small little LED flashlight, and I have to charge it up. It dies out. And let's see what else they have here, so I can give you an idea. I like the flood barrier stuff, but man, if you've got water coming in, if you're on the shore and the beach, no, that's not going to happen. And tarps are really good to have. They'll keep you dry. They will, when you come back, if you have a hole in your roof and missing shingles, throw that up on there. I also wanted to show you some of these. Now, these are super expensive, but these are really small generators, and they are easy to use, and you can charge up the solar panels to keep it running. Wow, we have one of these. They had a super good sale a couple of years ago. So we did get one, and there's a small one. And it's something that I can do myself, like, because I have some hand weakness, which you guys know I have MS, so I've got my issues. But, say the storm's gone and we have no power and Tammy's got to go to work, and guess what? I need to make sure this is going to be going the whole time, or say it conks out. I want to be able to press a button easily. And these types of generators enable me to do that. So I like that a lot. And I also like the fact that it runs on gas, but it also runs on, it doesn't run on gas. I'm sorry. It doesn't run on gas. It runs on solar and battery. So you do have to charge this up. You can't just be like, oh, yes. And this you can use inside. Why? Because it's battery operated. It is not operated with gas. If you have a generator that is operated by gas, you need to keep it not only outside, like don't put it in your garage because your garage is attached to your house and those fumes are going to seep into your house and you are going to pass away from carbon monoxide poisoning, and we don't want that, and it's not necessary. You don't have to have that happen. Okay. Let's move on. We've got the water purification tabs. Definitely these little chargers are, this is a, I'm sorry, this isn't a charger, this is one of the hand crank weather radios, which I think are amazing. We have one of these. There are chargers that you can plug your phone into. We have one of those also. These are lighters that don't have any um, flame, so you don't have to really worry, but they don't hold a charge long. I have one, and they really don't hold a charge long. I would definitely recommend getting a lighter and some matches, like waterproof matches, that type of thing. Definitely some walkie talkies are great to have, because you've got to think, like when you're in a first aid kit. These are all things I have on the list. Um, when you're like no power, these are the things that you need to think about. Like you have to get everything charged up. You have to have a backup supply. You need your batteries, and you need to charge everything before the storm comes. So when you hear a storm coming, what are you going to do? That's right. You're going to charge up all your things that need to be charged. You're going to charge your battery that is going to be a power source for you. And if you can swing a generator, then go for it. If you can't, it's okay. You can still get through this storm without a generator. You can still get through evacuations without a generator. You might be uncomfortable, you might be sweating your ass off, but you can still do it. Um, I don't remember when it was. It wasn't last year. I think it was about 5 years ago. We lost power for almost 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, and I am super heat sensitive, and I would just go sit in the car and I would um, charge up my phone, and I would sit in the car, have the air conditioning on, and kind of get cooled down. And that was just a really good way for me to cool my body down because I am heat sensitive. And yes, I live in Florida, but I can't live where it's cold because it destroys my body. So moving right along. Um, I want you to think about definitely gassing up your vehicle. Even a vehicle, say you have two vehicles and you don't really use the one that much, make sure it's full, the tank is full. Check your tires, check the oil in your vehicle. Get gas, some extra gas in the gas container so you have some. And if you have a gas powered generator, you're definitely going to need more gas. So, you know what I was saying before about the generators, not putting it in your, in your garage. Don't put it right outside the door or right outside a window. You want to have it away from your home if it is a gas powered generator. Okay. We got to be safe, people. We got to be safe. The other thing, I want you to get a first aid kit. It's really handy to have a first aid kit. Cleaning supplies, so like wipes, like disinfectant wipes, like the Clorox wipes. I call these wasteful wipes, but when you're in a storm situation, they're very handy. Wipes like baby wipes are good for when you have to go potty, and you can't use the bathroom or you can't flush. Um, PT, paper towels, bleach, plain bleach, not like thick bleach that doesn't splash, or lavender bleach, like straight up plain bleach. Okay, really good for cleaning and disinfecting. Um, Toilet paper, gotta have some TP around. Lighters and matches, garbage bags, I think are really handy to have. And a dry bag. If you guys don't know what a dry bag is, it's a bag that a lot of kayakers will take with them, or boaters will take with them, so that you can protect your wallet. anything that is, going to get destroyed with water. So it's nice to have like your phone, your wallet, and maybe some, I don't know, prescriptions or whatever you have in that dry bag. The dry bag will float. If you happen to get into a flood situation, it will float. But mostly it just keeps things dry and you don't have to really worry about that much. Paper goods. I think it's good to have some paper goods, like maybe some paper plates or paper cups or something like that. Phone chargers for your car is really good to have because you have no power and you don't have a generator, so you have nothing to plug in. So you are in your car and you need a charger. So make sure your chargers are working and functioning in your vehicle. A notebook with pens. It's good to have something to do. First of all, like if you journal and stuff, that's cool. But you might want to, be able to document certain things that you're not going to be able to put into your phone because you don't want to use the battery in your phone. Okay, I'm always thinking of these things. Have a knife or hatchet. Definitely a pair of scissors. I would get a good pair of scissors because you don't know if you have to, maybe cut something like, I don't know, material or something like that. But also with your pets, if they have, say, they have a burr or sand spur or something, down here we have so many sand spurs and just wild vegetation. It's not literally, but it feels like literally Jurassic Park here. It's crazy. Okay, so you'd want to have something that's going to be, you're going to be able to use easily and just snip out, sand spur out of your dog's, whether it always gets in the paw or behind the ear. Always, inevitably, that's what's going to happen. And uh, work gloves, like if you need to move stuff around, like say you need to like, pick up some brush or whatever. We've got such bad fire ants down here, so might protect you for a few seconds, but protect your skin, don't get cut and all that stuff because you don't want to get an infection. And I also like to have some latex gloves around for cleaning. And let's see, we talked about the battery charger. Clean clothes. If you don't have power, it's nice to have some clean clothes to change into. Um, and also closed toe shoes. Now, I don't wear shoes at all, but I do have a couple of pairs of the Vibram five finger toe shoes and the Vibram, just not with the toes, but just regular slip in shoe. So I would wear that. It's not going to, like, if I drop something, it's not going to protect my foot. I know that much. But if you're a typical person and you can wear shoes, wear closed toe shoes and protect your feet. Now, as it pertains to the dogs, water, okay, dry food, canned food, treats. If you see, can you see this behind me? Okay, we've got a bag of air dried ziwi behind the red Kong. Back there, it's Kong Wobbler. And then up there, yes, we have lots of cookies. Um, Tammy likes to put those in their Kongs and tumblers and all kinds of stuff. But we also, if you look up that red bag right there, that red bag has got freeze dried food in it. So we would reconstitute it with some water. So, treats. You need to have treats. I'm sorry. You can't just be like, oh, we don't have treats anymore. So get some treats. You can have, there's right back there, we've got freeze dried liver. There's a whole bunch of different treats that you can use. Cut them up small. Bowls for them. Food bowl, water bowl. Have to have some kind of water bowl for them to drink out of. Okay, don't forget that. A brush, a flea comb. You want to make sure that they're clean and that they don't have, fleas and ticks on them. You need to be up to date on their flea and tick medication and also their heartworm medication. In particular, after the storm, mosquitoes are going to be off the hook. You know that. I know that. Okay. Get some enrichment toys. Well, you should already have enrichment toys, but bring them with you. All you need is a Kong. That's all. One Kong per dog. You don't want to bring a bunch of stuff. I understand that. It's heavy, whatever. Make sure their prescriptions are refilled. Okay, not only their flea and tick and heartworm medication for mosquitoes, but if they're on, say they take phenobarbital every day. I don't know what your dogs take, but if they take a medication every day, make sure you get them um, enough of them from your veterinarian. Talk to your veterinarian. I hope you guys have a good relationship with your veterinarian. If you don't, find a veterinarian that you will have a good relationship with, because you're going to need a veterinarian at some point in your pet's life. Okay. Um, and I know it's hard to find people to trust and that type of thing. But you need to have a source for treatment for your pets. It's important. And microchip them. If you do not have your pet microchip, please microchip them. Listen, I used to be this person way back in the day where I was like, I'm not microchipping my dog. I don't want people to keep track of my conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. And then I'm like, you know what? Shit, Maria. So many pets have been saved and reunited with their owners because they have a microchip in them. So, microchip your pets. And if you already have them microchip, hello, update the information. Make sure it's not the shelter's information. Make sure it's not the previous owner's information. Make sure it's not your ex's information. Make sure it's not your past home information. Make sure it is your current information, your phone number, your address, period. Okay? Pictures. Okay? Get them done now. Proof of vaccination, proof of your rabies vaccination. If you have to go to a shelter that allows pets, guess what they want? They want your vaccination from your veterinarian. They want proof of that. Rabies, especially. I don't know if they're going to do the DHPP, distemper, hepatitis, parvo, parainfluenza, but they might require, you have to check with your local shelter. And I think it's really advisable for you to check now with the shelters in your area and find out which ones accept pets and which ones do not accept pets, because there are a handful that do and the handful that don't. If you have a service dog, I mean, we all know this. You legally should be able to get into any shelter, but there are some morons on this planet. They may try and pull some bullshit on you and not let you in with your service dog. And you just tell them ADA, check the ADA, have a card in your hand, whatever. Educate them if you have to, even though you shouldn't have to. But there are always those people out there that try and make our lives really difficult. We don't need that, especially during a storm. It's freaking stressful enough. Crate. This is where your crate training. Hi, future proofing your puppy or your adult dog for the future. And for the future is, hey, a crate, a safe place to go. Because if you have to evacuate into a shelter situation, your dog, unless it's a service dog, your dog is going to be in a separate area away from you. They need to be safe and secure. They need to be comfortable because, again, it's already stressful enough. Start working on those crates. You need help with that? Hit me up. You know how to reach me. Maria at doggonepositivetraining.com. Okay? Shoot me an email. Message me. We'll at doggone positive. We'll work together. I'll help you get your dog prepared. Collars, make sure they have the right collars on. Martingale collars, no slip collars is a martingale collar. Okay, or a harness. Do a harness. Leashes, get a 6-foot leash if you have to. I prefer 4-foot. Perfect. They honestly don't need a 6-foot leash, but I'd rather you get a 6-foot than a stupid retractable, because that is a disaster, especially during stressful times. Make sure you have poop bags for when they go poopy. And also towels. I think towels are good to have, like small towels, big towels. You don't have to have a whole bunch, but maybe like 10 towels or something like that, small and large, washcloth, whatever, so you can just wipe them down or whatever, or maybe you need them for yourself. And if your dog is a super stress monger, not only do you need medications that are going to help, whether it's CBD or something from the veterinarian that may help take the edge off for them. I recommend getting a Thunder shirt if you don't already have one, because I think it's important for them. We've got to provide for these babies. And the best way to provide for them is to be prepared for them so that they know that they are taken care of and that you're leading the charge. You're like, hey, I got this. I'm the human. I'm taking care of you. I'm your leader. Okay. I'm not talking about alpha and all that BS. I'm just talking about being responsible, because when you are in control of the situation and you're prepared, things are smoother, things are less stressful. Even though it is a high stress situation, you're going to be stressed, you're going to snap, shit's going to happen. But if you are as prepared as possible, that definitely takes your anxiety level down. Okay. And people don't really think about that, but it does help to be prepared, really, at the end of the day. Now, I want to talk to you guys about if you have a disability, any kind of disability. Okay. Like, especially if you are a full-time wheelchair user, like I am a full-time wheelchair user, but I have a manual chair, so I don't have to charge it. But I have a friend who does not have a manual chair, they have a power chair. That chair needs to be um, charged, but you also should, if you're going to evacuate, make sure you bring that charger with you. Don't forget your charger. If you go to the shelter, don't forget your charger. And excuse me. And if you have oxygen, make sure you have an ample supply of oxygen that you can get from your doctor. Make sure you have a way to run your oxygen if it's powered. So there are a lot of things to think about. And in particular, make sure you have your medications, especially if you have a disability. You might need some extra. You're definitely, like, I always bring a change of clothes with me now, because things happen when you have a disability. You might pee a little bit. Guess what? You got to change your pants and everything. And you might have to clean your chair. So have an extra cover for your chair cushion on your seat. And you can use chucks. And if you don't know what chucks are just basically, chucks are like pee pads. Really, they kind of look like that, but you can get nice chucks. You can get chucks that are made out of material and rewashable, reusable type of thing. And I'm just talking about this because it's so important, and it's like stuff that we do not think about. And especially if you don't have a disability, you don't think about these things. But just kind of take a step back and think about that. And bring some cards, some playing cards with you too. You might get really bored, and your phone, you can't be on it playing games and stuff. Bring some cards. Uh, I don't know, try and keep yourself as entertained as possible. I just want you guys to be prepared. I don't want you guys to be stressed out. It's no fun to be stressed out at all. I want to look here with you guys on the whatchamacallit, on this is where we live. And I want you guys to see excuse me, their recommendations. They have a preparedness portal, they have a preparedness guide, 911 communication. Whoops. Let's look at their animal safety. I'm just curious what their animal safety is. This is just their basic pets and preparedness. Let's go to that page. It's never too early to plan ahead. Yes. And yes, it does go to November 30th. So don't forget that. Like, this is a long season. And guess what? Our season, as we get closer to the end, it really ramps up. Like September, October, it just ramps the heck up. You would think, oh, it's going to get cooler, but it doesn't. It just Like the sea is hot and just the storms are off the hook when it gets like that. They talk about their supply kit, what to have for your pets. Everything we talked, and kitties. I mean, litter box, cat litter, and you should train your cats to go into a crate too, and you can do that, and I can help you with that too. I've trained plenty of cats. Um, they've got a good list here. Hopefully you won't need to have a thermometer, but if you ever do, you've got it. Okay, you've got everything that you need. Okay, this is why you need to have a first aid kit for you and one for your pet. Some of it may cross over, but some of it may not. I like this. Tube socks replacing over an injured paw. Definitely. The vet wrap stuff, that vet wrap, let me find some on here. You know what? I'll show you guys. I'm going to have some pictures up here as we go through this so I can show you some of our stuff that we have. But it's just really important. Sheltering at home, sheltering with family and friends, pet friendly hotels. Yes, you need to look these up because I know that one really good pet friendly hotel is Red Roof Inn. And I mean, it may not be the classiest joint, but I'll tell you what, they're very accommodating. Their floors are not carpeted. Yay! So less incidents of fleas and ticks. And easier, if you have a disability, easier to ambulate across with your chair. And pet friendly shelters also. Um, so if you go onto your town's website or your city or the county's website for wherever you live, you will find, hopefully, you will find all of these types of tips and lists and everything that you need to have. You should pre-register at a shelter if you have pets. Also, if you have a disability, some of these shelters definitely want you to get, hooked up with them, just like you would if you had a pet. You should contact them. It doesn't mean you have to go there, but it's always nice to have a backup plan. I know a lot of people don't want to leave the comfort of their home, and maybe you can't afford to stay at a hotel or you're not able to get to family and friends, but man, you know if it push came to shove and I had to be someplace safe with my pet, I'd want to make sure that I had everything lined up prior to me having to evacuate with my pet and know where to go. So make sure you're prepared. I mean, just prepare, 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 prepare. Okay. I hope you guys have been enjoying the show. We've had some really awesome guests on. I just absolutely love um, the people that I have been blessed and honored to interview. I'm going to have some more interviews coming up, but this week it was really important for me to get this information out to you. I love you guys. Be good to yourselves and just get prepared. Bye. Have a doggone positive day. Stuff a Kong.